All right. Good morning. Tis I, the guy who runs this channel, the P-Dog Night channel, and I'm the guy that people call P-Dog Night, even though my name's Marty Johnson. Whatever. I am here on this lovely Tuesday. Got, 3 more days? Well, Thursday we leave for Europe. And I got so much shit to do. Although I did get the pool closed. I got to mow the lawn. I got to make sure the kid mows the lawn next week. My daughter's going to be house sitting. So I'm going to leave some here and there. So I'm going to got to have some stuff here for her. And oh boy. But today, there's a whole bunch of stuff. There's no one topic today. There's all a bunch of dumb stuff that's happening in the world, kind of like every day. So we're just going to do what we do. No, it's not a new intro. That's just because I have a 10-minute countdown. I now have a 1-minute countdown for when I'm really late, and I don't want to set a 10-minute countdown, so I just put that on there instead. So that's what it is. Where in Europe am I going? Hungary, Austria, Germany. We're doing a river cruise up the Danube, and then we're going to spend 3 days in Prague. Going with a very close family friend of ours who wanted to take one of her last big hurrah trips, and she invited us to go with her, and we're like, you know what? Absolutely. She's in her 80s, and she's a great friend of ours and has done so much for my kids. We're like, oh, hell yeah, we're going to go. So we're going to do that. I'm actually going to miss my 40th high school reunion for this, but it's going to be worth it. I'm excited. I haven't spent any time over there, so it'll be cool. Anyway, so some dumb stuff, like I said in the description, and that's how it's gonna go. So I'm gonna let's see. I didn't finish sending out my notifications. A little busy work while I'm here. I figured out too. I think I know what the problem is with my my computer not refreshing fast enough. I think I just realized whoever set up this computer, I didn't set up. When I put in the new GPU, I didn't move my. I don't have my graphics connected to the GPU. I have them still connected to the, just to the regular, motherboard, whatever outlet on using the HDMI. So I have to change that over. I just realized that today. So that's just because I'm kind of a boomer when it comes to tech. So it is what it is. Anyway, let's start the show. First, though, we're going to play the intro because I need to click all these buttons while I'm playing it. So, Johnny, would you do me a favor? Hit it. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog Studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, P-Dog Night. That's me! Stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Night on the internet, and welcome back to the P-Dog Night channel, where occasionally we just have some random dumb stuff to talk about, and boy, is there always plenty of that because, well, just because. Thanks to you, those of you who have already tweeted out the show. I noticed a few of you have already done that. Somnambul Nation, Man Squatch, thank you for doing that. If you'd be so kind, share this stream before, during, after the show. Hit the like button sometime during the show. Sponsor the show at pdognight.live. We're spending so much money on this this trip. Or you can do super chats or whatever. There's other ways to do it down in the description. And if you're watching on the replay, put a comment in the comment section. If you have something specific to say about any of the topics that we cover today. And also, speaking of the topics we cover today, every day, I put the articles, tweets, videos, whatever, all in a single link in the description below this video. In the second paragraph, it tells you that if you want to find out what's happening, let's see, let me give the exact line. Today's news links from the show can be found here, and I will update that link during the outro. It'll be called a one-tap link. You click that link, and every single thing will be on a single page with all the links to the stories that we cover. So there we go. So today, well, the inflation numbers came out. Before I talk about that, let's say good morning to people in the chat. First in the chat today is our friend Advocatus Diable, who is often the most Johnny on the spot person on the planet. Also, good morning to Simon Wolfwood, Jimmy Das Hotep. Good morning, Tyrannius Alexandrius, Invictus Soul. Also, good morning, Renee Mayette, Mike Savage, Blarg, Man Squatch, Rotten Corpse, Trippy Liberty. What's up, man? You were in a one of those, whatchamacallit, the Twitter, what do they call those things? The spaces. And I was gonna stop in and talk to you because you were talking about something, and something that you tweeted the other day, and I was gonna stop in one of those spaces and try to find you and talk to you. I'll catch up with you, man. Anyway, good morning, Lord Stanhope. Let's see. D.I. Freighter Watcher. I said Man Squad. Spud Guns in the house. Nice to see you. Neon Leon. K Shull. Who else? Infamous One. Dom O'Leary. Well, thank you. Not much what I have to say. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that. It says not much, but I have some monies. You know what? I found out, and I don't know, that's an English pound. I don't know what the exchange rate of the English pound to the dollar is. I know that the euro right now is almost 1-to-1, and I'm not sure if that's good or if that's bad. I have no idea, but I think that's good. I thought it was. Well, I don't know. We'll see when I get over there. See how much shit costs, because you just never know. But anyway. You can always find me nowhere hanging out with nobody. LOL. T.I., that doesn't sound good. Come on now. Anyway, thank you very much, Spudgun. I appreciate that. All right, so I've said hi. Let's just kind of go in order of things that are on my list here. But number one, the inflation numbers came out. Now, I haven't looked at these carefully, so I'm just going to use the Twitter topic here. As soon as I can make that work. Hello, Marty, get the shit together. So the inflation numbers come out. Inflation, 8.3% in August. Takeaway food costs are taking a big bite out of household budgets. Food at home, 11.4% up. Now, gas up 25.6%. See, now it's funny because what the federal government is going to try and tell you. The White House is going to try to spin this in. Oh, yeah, inflation is down inflation is down. Well, no, it's not down. It's down. It's a smaller number than last month because gas prices came down, right? And they're trying to take all this credit for gas prices. Oh, yeah, see, in July, the average price of gas was $5 something. Now it's $3.76 or whatever it is, $3.99 or whatever. It's below $4, right? They're trying to take all this credit for gas, right? And they're saying, well, that doesn't mean anything. They didn't do anything to lower the gas price. Gas prices always peak early in the summer and they slowly go down. And I'm just curious how much of our strategic reserve they've used to help that along. I don't know if that's a production issue. It's certainly they're not. OPEC is talking about lowering production by 100,000 barrels a day. That's not a good thing because they're worried about it coming down because they're making some big bank, right? Small waist, pretty face, and a big bank. But anyway, so here's food prices up 11.14%, bread up 16%, chicken up 16%, eggs up 39%, milk up 17%, canned vegetables up 16.1%, coffee up 17%, butter up 24%. Oh my God, I use a lot of butter. Not that much butter though, because you know how much butter can you use unless you're like French chef or some shit, using butter on everything. Anyway, the price of gas is still up over $1 than what it was. More than $1. Like, because around $2 when he came in the office. Now it's like three. What did I pay the other day at Sam's Club? I think it was like $3.56, which is low because compared to other places. I know that. Anyway, this is real sad. The U.S. Army is telling soldiers to apply for food stamps to help cover rising costs from inflation. This should tell you all you need about the real impact of inflation on the lives of American people. Ugh, that's not good. Hello. Oh, you were already here. Never mind. I was going to say hi to Simon Wolfwood again, but you were already here. Let's see. Anyone else talking? COVID didn't create inflation. Putin didn't create inflation. No, inflation is a result of governments and central banks' irresponsible and totally irrational policy of believing that prosperity can be created out of thin air. Well, at least units of monetary what is it? What's that word? Caveat? Not caveat. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know. Anyway, here we go. U.S. CPI up. Oh, now here's somebody. Here's the thing. Here we go. CPI up 0.1% month over month in August, more than expected, and up 8.3% year over year. Also a little higher than forecast, but down from last month's 8.5% pace. Let's see what this guy's thread's like, because I'm curious what he's going to say after that. So, but, consumer price index is up 0.1%, and that's more than expected. I bet they thought it'd go down month over month because the gas price is coming down, but it didn't. That means a lot of other things offset the price of gas going down, right? Now here you go, CNN. This is CNN talking about inflation. Annual inflation eased last month, but remains stubbornly high. Even people who read headlines are going to go, oh, well, it eased last month. Those things must be getting better. Did it? Annual inflation eased, but month to month it didn't. U.S. inflation cooled off in August for a second straight month, but remains stubbornly high, according to data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics released Tuesday. The Consumer Price Index, which measures a basket of consumer goods and services, showed prices were up 8.3% year on year, a slowdown from the 8.5% gain in July, and then the 9.1% spike in June. Well, that's because, and I'm pretty sure that's pretty much attributable to gasoline. Last time the headline CPI rate declined in consecutive months was the first part of 2020. On a monthly basis, consumer prices rose 0.1% from July, which is amazing. I'm telling you, because gas came down month to month. So it's still up for consumer prices. That's interesting. The slower pace of annual price hikes comes alongside a significant drop in gas prices, which have come from record highs set in June. Core CPI, which strips out more volatile categories like food and gasoline, measured 6.3% in August, up from 6.2% in July. Still, inflation remains painfully high for many Americans, especially those with little wiggle room in their monthly budgets. Annual price gains are a far cry from where they were 18 months ago and from the Federal Reserve's target inflation rate of 2%. Woof. All right, so then a couple comments from some jackhole there. So there you go, inflation. And let's see. That's CNN. Do I need this? No. All right. Let's move on to Jimmy Kimmel, who's trending. And I don't normally talk about entertainment, but Jimmy Kimmel is in some hot water because he upstaged a woman. Not just any woman. He upstaged a black woman. Even BuzzFeed is mad at Jimmy Kimmel. Yes, Jimmy Kimmel's unfunny and a bad person. Good morning, everyone. Realizing Jimmy Kimmel sucks. That's British Fantasy. She's a gem. So anyway, presenter Jimmy Kimmel receives criticism for continuing. Oh, what the hell happened there? Where'd it go? That's me. That's me. Presenter Jimmy Kimmel receives criticism for continuing a joke by lying on the ground during Quinta Brunson's acceptance speech after receiving the reward for best writing in a comedy series. He upstaged a black woman by playing a joke, and now he's mad. Instead of just making the entire night about what Jimmy Kimmel did, let's focus on what Quinta Brunson did. Let's spread the photos of him cropped out. Let's not give him the attention he wants. Congratulations, Quinta. Hope you're proud of what you accomplished. Because is there some sour ass face? Let's see if they got a video of this. I have to see a video. Is there a video of this? Quinta Brunson deserved better than giving her acceptance speech over Jimmy Kimmel's dead body. Let's read the thread. I gotta find a friend that wants to talk about it. Nope. Oh, and men ruin everything. Oh, that's precious. Well, all right. Who? Never heard of her. She's a writer. I don't even know. I'm trying to find a story that actually shows what Jack Hole did here. I mean, obviously there's pictures here. See, here's the picture. Okay. She's during the acceptance speech, and she's lying there on the ground. Now, some people laughing there. These not so happy. Yeah, they're just kind of, oh, this is cringy. She got a writing for the Abbott Elementary pilot. I don't even know what Abbott Elementary is. Is that the same show that woman Cheryl and Ralph finally got an Emmy for? Cheryl and Ralph's been around a long time. Y'all have no idea what I'm talking about, do you? Oh, Lord. This woman, Kayla Briscoe, PhD, the most disrespected woman in America is the black woman. Malcolm X quote. We witnessed this last night when Quinta Brunson had to step over Jimmy Kimmel to accept her Emmy. Bottom line, stop disrespecting black women. I'm telling you, this is the biggest mistake of Jimmy Kimmel's career. This might be the end of Jimmy Kimmel. Okay, here we go. Here it is. I'll probably get in trouble for showing this. I'll get in trouble for showing this. I don't know. Who is that? I don't even know who that is. Why is he?
Quinta Brunson, Abbott Elementary.
Okay, so she gets they announce her name. Now I'm just gonna run this through before. Now I'm gonna run this without the sound. Okay, here she is. She gets a writing award for Abbott Elementary. Now, where did Jimmy Kimmel? Oh, Jimmy Kimmel's right there. He's there when the guy's announcing her name, and he doesn't get up when she goes over there. He just stays there on the ground while she's accepting her award. This guy tries to move Jimmy out of the way. Oh, Lord. I'm just doing this so I don't want to get the copyright strike. I don't care about the Emmys. And he just stays there. You know, there's a point, look. There's a point where you drop the bit. I'm sorry. And I don't care. It doesn't matter if it's a black woman, white woman, white man, whatever. Whoever's accepting the award should be the focus of the award, right? Jimmy Kimmel's biggest mistake is leaving Adam Carolla. Maybe. Sheryl Lee Ralph was on Moesha. I know she is. Yeah, she was. She's, you know, is she a great actress? She's a good actress, but she's just been around for a long time. And it's nice to see someone who's been around finally get an Emmy. Sheryl Lee Ralph. Yeah, that's her name. Anyway, so, oh my gosh, listen to some of these comments. So, now that I know about Jimmy Kimmel's trash racist ass, I'm not shutting up about it. He robbed a talented black woman of whatever she wanted her moment to be. Fuck him. Oh, damn. This is even. Now now they're bringing up Jimmy Kimmel doing blackface. People just figured out who Jimmy Kimmel is. Meanwhile, this shit's been out there since the 90s. There he is. Oh, I think Jimmy Kimmel's done for on this one. I honestly don't pay attention to him because I was so focused on her. But seeing Frozen in Time, Jimmy Kimmel owes Quinta a very public apology, especially now that I know he did this after he lost. It's giving sore loser. It's not a moment she can get back. Yeah, he's just laying there. Only thing matters is she got a booty with the juice. I don't know what to say to that. All right, have we talked about Jimmy Kimmel enough? Look, Jimmy Kimmel's gotten away with a lot of shit over the years. Do you think he's here? Here's why, because this is, you know what? He up there disrespected black women. Does Jimmy Kimmel survive this. There's the poll. You know he's going to give some crying ass apology though. I can't. I just want to see his crying ass apology. This really isn't news, is it? I'm going to move on. Okay. Ramsey Lewis, the great jazz pianist, has passed away at age 87. If you're familiar with Ramsey Lewis, the Ramsey Lewis Trio, and he's a jazz legend. He's been around for a long time. Rest in peace, Ramsey Lewis. Mel Torme was trending. Now, I have no idea. Oh, I know why Mel Torme is trending. Mel Torme is trending. Oh, wait. Let me go back to Ramsey Lewis. Because here's the Ramsey Lewis Trio. All right, hold up. Oh, my goodness. Your Majesty, the King of England, Charles, is sponsoring the show. Charles, you are the new Streamlab Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, Charles. And congratulations on your ascension to the throne. King of England, he says, with a duo one, says, I'm the motherfucking king. It is my royal decree. My balls will be washed nightly by big titty Scottish redheads. Harry, who is not my kid after DNA testing, his royal tittle of a prince shall be replaced by simp cuck. Fuck you and your bitch of a wife. Okay, King's getting a little saucy there. Thank you for sponsoring the show, sir. And I'm not gonna bow to your ass. I'm an American. Fuck you. Anyway, thank you, King of England, for sponsoring the show. I have a sneaky feeling about this. I have no idea. Anyway, thank you, King of England. All right, back to Ramsey Lewis. So this is the Ramsey Lewis Trio back in the day. It sounds like... All right, a little bit of Ramsey Lewis there. Also trading today is Mel Torme, because it's Mel Torme's birthday. I mean, I think Mel Torme's been gone a while, but he is also one of the known as jazz guy. Here's a little clip of Mel Torme singing with Ella Fitzgerald, two jazz legends. So there you go, little Mel Torme. Happy birthday, Mel Torme. I have no idea. Now, the other day I we're gonna just keep going. This is one clip that I meant to show you yesterday. I forgot this clip. We were talking about the aftermath of 9/11, 9/12, whatever. This is an interesting clip about the attack on America. Here we go. Let me full screen this one though. There we go.
A few moments ago, Donald Trump passed through here, so we had a minute to talk with him. Let's roll that tape. You can see what he had to say.
Well, I've never seen anything like it. I've seen two huge 110-story buildings that are reduced to rubble, thousands and thousands of lives. I just got to see something that I've never seen before. I have hundreds of men inside working right now, and we're bringing down another 125 in a little while. And
wait, he just now what did he do? He said something about
before. I have hundreds of men inside working right now, and we're bringing down another 125 in a little while. And they've never done work like this before. And they're hardworking people, but they've never seen anything like it, and they've never done work like this before. It's terrible.
Tell me what it's like at Ground Zero. Tell me about the workers that you saw and what they're doing
The worst
there.
person in the world,
not only is it devastation, but it's very dangerous because every few minutes a whistle would go off and everybody would just run because you have all the buildings around it, which are in such a weakened state that people just don't know. And so they just have to take off. And then they come back and they're working under 50-story buildings that you don't know if they're going to fall down. So it's a terrible thing for the workers, and it's a terrible thing for the world, really.
How have you spoken to any of your men? Do you know how they're reacting to this? Because emotionally, this must be so incredibly difficult.
Well, there are a lot of them, but they've never seen bodies like this. I mean, the bodies all over. The great thing is when they find somebody that's alive, like the 5 firemen that they just found a little while ago. So that's the great thing, and that's what they're all striving.
You know, it's funny because there are a lot of people who said, Donald Trump wasn't there. He didn't do anything. Blah, blah, blah. Donald Trump. Yeah. No, he had a bunch of his guys, his people working for him down there, helping. And he was down there. Clearly, he's down there. They interviewing him right there. So anyway, we don't have to watch. I'll have you can watch the rest of the clip if you want. It'll be in the links at the end of the show. All right, moving on. We've been talking about EV cars, electric vehicles, right? And I had a great video the other day talking about how much mining you have to do to make one of those lithium batteries for an electric car. And it's something like 500 tons of earth have to move for one per battery. Now, I'm not sure if that was correct, but here's an interesting thing as far as lithium. So let's say you replace 2 billion vehicles in the world with electric vehicles, or in order to do that. First of all, there's not enough lithium on the planet to replace 2 billion vehicles. The manufacturers know that, the governments know that, and the World Economic Forum knows that. And here's one of the articles that they highlight here. Not enough lithium to satisfy U.S. EV adoption goals, says mining CEO. And there's just no way to change the situation quickly as the U.S. has fallen behind. Also, the World Economic Forum saying the world needs 2 billion electric vehicles to get to net zero. But is there enough lithium to make all the batteries? Yeah, the carbon footprint of an electric vehicle over the lifetime of the vehicle is still more than my Ford F-150 gas power. It's crazy how much mining they have to do for the minerals to make the batteries and make the components for an electric vehicle. So, yeah, FTG to WEF. It's not even Thursday. You're right. Absolutely, Somnambule Nation. Hello, Chicago Mike, by the way. I saw you pop in here. All right, and Ducky's in the house. What's up, Ducky? Nice to see you. Aaron Meredith also. Hello, what's up? And I think I'm close. Anyway, all right, so anyway, let's move on. What else do I got here? Oh, wait, is that the same thing? Oh, no. Oh, hey, here's one for you. So people are arguing, this it's really getting thick on Twitter as far as the discussions on transgender stuff. In fact, where's that article? There was an article. Hang on a second here. In fact, I'm going to bring this over this way. So there's an interesting thing. So every time you get in this argument about whether you should be able to trans kids or do things. Hello, Mike Jager-Pony, my favorite Canadians in the house. Nice to see you. About trans kids, right? This trans kids things, and that, you know, oh gosh, you know, we can just put them on puberty blockers, and if it doesn't work, then they can just, you know, they can get off puberty blockers, and everything goes back to normal, right? Excuse me. Oh, good God, what was that? Right? Well, here's an interesting video. If you saw the movie What is a Woman, Dr. Marcia Bowers is the San Francisco doctor who performs trans surgeries and trans, you know, all kinds of trans surgeries for people who, you know, decide they're going to transition medically. And, you know, one of the biggest proponents and as a president of WPATH, the World something of transgender health, right? And they're the people who try to make all of the Peggy, would you please take your caps lock off? By the way, good morning, Peggy. Nice to have you here. So this is this transgender doctor that was in What is a Woman? You know, is just thinking that, you know, that this is just fine for kids. Here's an interesting thing, because a lot of them say, "Oh, you put a kid on puberty blockers, it's totally reversible, totally reversible." Well, let's listen to what Dr. Bowers says in this particular forum for Duke University. Just take a listen to this.
The second is was an observation that I had that every single child who was, or adolescent who was truly blocked at Tanner stage 2 has never experienced orgasm.
What was that? So Tanner stage 2, between 9 and 11 years old, if they started doing it on puberty, because they'll say, oh, we have a trans kid, we need to put them on puberty blockers so they don't, they don't go through puberty, so they can decide if they really want to be trans or not, right? Oh, no worries, no worries, Peggy. That's no big deal. Anyway, so what did she just say? She said that, say it again.
The second was an observation that I had, that every single child or adolescent who was truly blocked at Tanner stage 2 has never experienced orgasm. I mean,
interesting. Never, everyone that they've done it to has, at that stage, has never experienced orgasm. Let her continue here.
It's really about
him
zero.
Or whatever.
These are of course, these are just assigned male at birth, so trans feminine, and it's because they never in their lives are exposed to testosterone.
So
that doesn't
is it
change.
Reversible?
That doesn't change. So blockers prevent the rise of testosterone, and they don't really go on testosterone at or around surgery or into adulthood. And
now here's something interesting. I'm looking at the faces of the other ones, because this is not something they want to hear, because they've been telling everybody for years that puberty blockers are totally reversible.
So we don't know. They're going to have this sensation. There's no question about that. But are they going to be able to achieve sexual satisfaction? It's important in relationships. And I know that from my work with female genital mutilation.
They're all uncomfortable. They're all uncomfortable
because with a partner is very important.
Because this is the truth they didn't want to hear.
This is what really raised the red flag for me, is to say, look, we need to have our eyes open.
Oh, you mean you might have to do some research?
I think it's been beneficial talking about it. I know Joe and many others have reported to me, they've changed their approach a little bit in their informed consent models, and that they're
as if a child can give informed consent, because they're just going by what the child says. Oh, this child, they know, right? Well, guess what? Are you going to advise a 9 to 11-year-old that they could never have an orgasm if they go on these puberty blockers? Because they have no idea what that is. They don't know. They have no idea. Are they telling the parents this? Hello, Straight Cis Male. Timing's everything. Tyler F., what's up? So informed consent.
We're talking about masturbation now. We're talking about, okay, that's an area of the body that's got very dysphoric for you. But you know what? It's all a penis is just a large clitoris.
Well, now,
I mean,
I would say hello, JC.
It's all the same material. It really is. So use it for the pleasurable purposes, partially that it was intended. And
so she's Dr. Bowers, one of the biggest person to push this nonsense, is having second thoughts on the puberty blockers, because she has some data that from research they never did. Oh boy, this is gonna be a long. These next 20 years is gonna be very interesting. You can watch the rest of this later. It's gonna be very interesting for people who have pushed this nonsense, because it's all gonna come back to them. Hello, Jeffrey Russell Jr. What's up? All right. Again, I'm going to. Oh, and by the way, Twitter now seems to be allowing a lot more than other social media platforms do. And there's an article in American Thinker: Twitter greenlights anti-trans movement. Wow, interesting. In the history of American social movements, September 11th may take on a new significance. September 11th, 2022, is the day that the powers that be allowed LGB without the T to trend on Twitter. Whoa! Now I've noticed this more because I follow a lot of people who are gender critical people and whatnot. In broad daylight, lesbian gays disassociate themselves with the transgender movement, and Twitter gave them a platform. This was a major turnaround. Just a month earlier, Twitter had banned Gays Against Groomers for hateful conduct. Now, the Gays Against Groomers back on Twitter, by the way. they just have to, they kind of blot out the groomers part. For those not familiar with Twitter, at a given time, about 5 or 6 stories are prominently featured as trending. Twitter claims that trends are tailored for you based on your location, who you follow, but then adds a critical disclaimer. There will be many world and local news events and conversations that will appear in your trends regardless of your personalization. If Twitter chose to let LGB without the T trend for me, it trended for everyone. I suspect someone above the Twitter brass encouraged them to do just that. With the elections just 2 months away, the increasingly noisy and oppressive trans movement was becoming too much of a political liability. In the past year or so, while the woke were storming the barricades on behalf of their oppressed comrades and corporate suits were kowtowing to the transgender community transgender community's every demand, only one group had the clout and cojones to speak out, and that was the LGBs, lesbian, gays, and bisexuals. The resistance among LGBs to the Ts has been brewing for some time. Sunday, it percolated to the surface. The LGBT resistance would seem to fall into 2 general categories, one shared by all thinking people. Said a bisexual woman, quote, "I have nothing in common with the activists who are trying to sterilize children and invade sex-specific places. It's sad that I don't even identify as someone within the LGBT community anymore because of one small group of extremists." What about the PLTs? What are you talking? Now I'm hungry, somnambule. Anyway. And then a gay man said, quote, wanting to cut your dick or boobs off is not LGB. Wanting to enter a women's locker room as men is not LGB. Wanting to compete against women as a man is not LGB. Wanting to give puberty blockers and sex change hormones to children is not LGB. End quote. Sasha cut right to the chase. Quote, "As a lesbian, I have nothing in common with the movement that claims men can be lesbians and is so determined to turn mostly gay and autistic kids into lifelong medical patients they drag opponents to court regularly. I want nothing to do with this lunacy." Okay. What was Dave Chappelle was joking about this, but hey, coming to fruition. A second point of resistance was more personal and distinctive. LGBs are apparently weary of being called bigots for their collective failure to date trans people. Wrote one lesbian, quote, "We're better off without the homophobic trans idiots. I don't need men, trans women, telling me who I'm allowed to be attracted to. Being same-sex attractive does not make you transphobic." Said another, "I'm not sexually attracted to somebody with a penis, even if they dress up like a woman. Being attractive based on sexual traits is now transphobic." Said another gay man, "Gay people are assaulted and called bigots and pervs in need of conversion therapy because they don't want to fuck someone of the opposite sex." So, reversing course of the good ship trans will be no easier than doing a quick 180 on the aircraft carrier. On August 22nd, for instance, the all-purpose British LGBT site Pink News headlined an article, quote, "Hate-fueled gays against groomers invited on Fox News about being suspended from Twitter," end quote. Until September 11th, few in the gay media and no one in the mainstream media showed any sign of easing up on trans critics. Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling has felt the heat for years. Rowling first got scorched in December 2019 when she came out in defense of the British tax specialist who was fired for a tweet that was judged homophobic. When Rowling friended a dying lesbian, also said to be homophobic, Rowling braced for the worst. "I must have been on my 4th or 5th cancellation by then," said Rowling. You know what? She has fuck you money, though. That's okay. She absolutely has fuck you money. But anyway, I expected the threats of violence to be told I was literally killing trans people with my hate and to be called a cunt and bitch and, of course, for my books to be burned, although one particularly abusive man told me he'd composted them. What surprised Rowling was the avalanche of emails and letters that came showering down upon me, the overwhelming majority of which were positive, grateful, and supportive. Until September 11th, the media had largely succeeded in keeping the world from seeing that avalanche. So you're starting to get it now, and then they calling her a TERF and all that shit. And TERFs can suck my huge... Oh, there was one woman posted a photo from an unnamed gay pride parade, possibly dressed, and have a large sign reading, "TERFs can suck my huge trans cock." Well, that's what they're trying to avoid, asshole. Anyway, is that a good sign? Oh, let's check the poll here. Will Jimmy Kimmel survive this? Yes, 64%. No. 36%. Yeah. He'll cry and whatever that is, you bow down yourself. There's a word for that. I don't think it's prostate yourself because that's something else. Anyway, all right, let's keep going because I don't have all the time in the world. Here's a new one. The Department of Justice is refusing to release Biden administration plan to intervene in the 2022 election. Now, I'm not 100% sure what this is about, but let's find out by reading this Breitbart article. The Department of Justice is refusing to release 15 pages of documents explaining the Biden administration's strategy to implement a, quote, voter access, end quote, policy that is being coordinated with left-wing groups just weeks before the 2022 election. Straight. Thank you. Prostitute. Evan, I don't think that's it. Brent, how you doing? No love for Kimmel, but this is just stupid people looking for something to whine about. No, okay. Yes and no. I don't care who was winning the award. Okay? The time to end the bit was when the person winning the award came up on stage. Because now you're upstaging someone's I just won an award speech, which they may never get a chance to do again in their life. And the fact that it was a black woman in Hollywood. I don't mean in the general public. I mean in Hollywood and on Black Twitter makes Jimmy Kimmel persona non grata unless he has one of those prostrating, crying apologies where he's like, oh, I did not mean to disrespect this black woman, especially not a black woman, because I know I've been in blackface before and I need to stop doing that, and now I'm gonna cry and tell me how terrible I am, and I'll give myself 40 lashes and shit. So, okay? But yeah, I think no matter who it was winning that award, he should have gotten up and gotten the fuck out of there as soon as they announced the name. No matter who it was, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it's a black woman, don't matter if it's a white woman, don't matter if it's a white man, don't matter if it's a Chinese man, a Chinese woman, black, white Chinese man, or what I don't know. I'm losing all the categories. It doesn't matter what the demographic of the award winner was. He should have got his ass up and got the fuck out. All right. So anyway, in March 2021, Joe Biden signed Executive Order 14019 called Promoting Access to Voting. As Breitbart noted, President Joe Biden issued an executive order on access to voting on Sunday that instructs federal government agencies to promote voter registration, help Americans apply to vote by mail, and combat misinformation, among other methods. What the fuck does the federal government do? The federal government doesn't do voting. That's state governments. They're dipping their nose in a place where they don't need to be. Hello, why are you so angry? Hello, Renee May. No, Renee, you were already here. Never mind. Anyway, the provisions include using federal agencies to promote voter registration. Why? It's not even a federal election in 2022. Well, I suppose congressional and Senate races are. Using federal agencies to inform Americans about voting, linking federal agency websites to state voter registration websites. No. This is, oh my God, this is some unconstitutional shit. Providing voter registration and vote by mail applications. Why is the federal government doing this? Using approved nonpartisan third-party organizations, no such thing, to register voters at federal agencies. Using identification documents issued by the agency to help people register to vote. Why? Providing more multilingual services to potential voters. So you're going to do multilingual service for people in every freaking state? Don't you think local voting places would be much better at that? For example, we have a large Hmong community in St. Paul. I think the Hmong leaders can help do that there much more effectively than some bitch-ass bureaucrat in Washington. That's so stupid. Providing more, giving public employees time off to vote in federal, state, local, tribal, and territorial elections. As if they don't give you enough time to vote these days. They give you weeks to get it done. Good God. Promoting voter registration for federal prisoners. What? I don't even know if federal prisoners can vote in every state. Anyway, one provision states it's the responsibility of the federal government to expand access to and education about voter registration and election information and to combat misinformation in order to enable all eligible Americans to participate in our democracy. Get the fuck out of here. Under the U.S. Constitution, now this is a good point. Under the U.S. Constitution, elections are largely administered by the states. But critics of Biden's executive order noted that it amounts to an attempt to federalize elections. That's exactly what they're trying to do. And to do so without authority from Congress, never mind the Constitution. Anyway, good God. But apparently there's a Justice Department document that they're refusing to release explaining their strategy. Huh. Interesting. All right, let's move on. You know those pipe bombs from January 6th that somebody planted and they still haven't found, somehow they haven't been able to figure out who planted them. Well, here's one for you. Pipe bombs were planted on the night of January 5th at the Republican National Committee and the Democratic National Committee offices, according to the FBI. Or were they? As evidence this occurred, the FBI released surveillance video showing a suspect, a man wearing a hoodie, carrying a backpack, walking by the RNC bomb site and sitting on a bench next to the DNC between 7:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. on the night of January 5th. The pipe bombs had a 60-minute kitchen timers, which means they had been armed and viable. Had they been armed and viable, they would have detonated before 9:30 p.m. on January 5th. But they didn't. Both could have been duds, or they could have been constructed for other purposes. Here's what we know. The first bomb was discovered on January 6th by Carlin Younger, who lives next to the DNC, which lies a couple blocks from the Capitol. After placing a load of laundry in a dryer, she exited the back of her building, and while making her way to the front, she saw what she believed might be a pipe bomb at 12:40 p.m. That was on January 6th. Kalin alerted the guard at the front of the RNC. He verified the device was likely a bomb and then alerted authorities. Information about the explosive device reached the Capitol Police, the law enforcement department that protects members of Congress, at 12:52 p.m. It responded immediately to coordinate and send resources to the bomb site, including a number of officers, officials, and a bomb squad, according to congressional testimony by then Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sun. The Capitol Police statement said the department also dispatched 3 counter-surveillance units, 2 main teams to the area to search for other explosive devices. At least one CSU went to the RNC apparently to gather information about the pipe bomb. It then drove to the DNC, according to the Capitol Police. That'd be the Democratic National Committee office. And here's where things get weird. About an hour after Carlin found the pipe bomb, Vice President-elect Kamala Harris traveled to the DNC to use its recording studio to tape messages to send to political supporters. Prior to her arrival, the Secret Service conducted a security sweep and did not find a bomb. Had they done so, Harris would have never been brought to the DNC, and a word of the explosive device would have been made public. The Capitol Police counter-surveillance team showed up at the DNC, which would have had a perimeter defense set up by the Secret Service. The counter-surveillance team would have had to explain why they were there and what their business was. Now imagine the astonishment of Secret Service agents when they learned the CSU had traveled to the DNC to search the ground for a possible pipe bomb. Knowing the DNC grounds were clean, the Secret Service gave the green light for the SCU to search for an explosive device. Just minutes after they began to investigate at 1:07 p.m., lo and behold, the SCU found a pipe bomb that was in plain sight at the base of a bench alongside the building. Wait, it wasn't there before? At 1:14 p.m., Vice President-elect Harris was evacuated from the DNC. How could this have happened? It's inexplicable that the Secret Service would have failed to find a pipe bomb during its security sweep. One possible explanation is that the pipe bomb was never planted at the DNC the night of January 5th. The device was placed near the bench sometime after the security sweep. When the CSU found the pipe bomb, the Secret Service agents must have been thunderstruck. Anyway, or maybe not. That the Secret Service conducted a comprehensive security sweep of the DNC and failed to find a readily visible bomb that should have set alarm bells ringing, but the agency said nothing. Did the Secret Service only turn a blind eye to the pipe bomb? Did it allow the CSU to search the DNC premises knowing the counter-surveillance team would find an explosive device by the bench? There's a simple way to answer these and other questions about suspicious activities at the DNC. The DNC has 2 closed-caption television cameras that surveil the area where the pipe bomb was planted. Making the recordings public from these cameras on January 5th and January 6th would make clear what actually happened. The FBI could have released video from one of the CCTV cameras at the DNC showing whether or not the alleged bomber had placed an explosive device by the bench on the night of January 5th. But it didn't. Instead, it distributed video from the camera that has an obstructed view of the alleged bomber. The man's lower body is not visible due to a bush, which makes it impossible to determine if he placed anything near the base of the bench. The pipe bombs caused several things to occur. They siphoned away security resources from the Capitol and increased the security issues that had to be handled, distracting the police from managing events at the Capitol grounds. In the escalating mayhem, the weakened police force could not contain the unruly protesters who broke into the Capitol and entered the building. Democrats contend the riot at the Capitol was an insurrection, but in a real insurrection, the invaders seek to ignite a political rebellion and take control of the government. The Trump supporters who went into the Capitol were unarmed and exhibited no interest in overthrowing the government. It's nonsensical to believe that they would have planted pipe bombs to make it easier to gain entrance into the building so they could stroll around for a few hours and then leave. Alternatively, the pipe bombs could have been an integral part of a political sting designed to counter the massive pro-Trump rally by turning it into a debacle. The plan undercover activists to incite the crowd of Trump supporters, place pipe bombs at nearby venues to draw security forces away from the Capitol, revealing their presence at the same time protesters began to push down police barriers, creating an atmosphere of pandemonium and panic, making it possible for protesters to overwhelm the police and allow undercover activists to break into the Capitol, opening the way for protesters to enter. So, what actually happened? The events of the DNC provide valuable clues to determine which scenario took place. They appear to give evidence of collusion by 3 government agencies to manipulate events on the Capitol grounds on January 6th. The FBI intentionally withheld video evidence that would show whether or not the alleged bomber planted an explosive device on January 5th at the DNC. The Secret Service, in its security sweep, either 1, found a pipe bomb and did not make the information public, or 2, did not find a pipe bomb and then remained silent after a device was discovered by the counter-surveillance team. And finally, the Capitol Police SCU that went to the DNC ignored the Secret Service security sweep, which did not find a bomb. The Secret Service allowed the team to conduct its own security search, and minutes later, the pipe bomb was found. The Secret Service did not report their failure to find a bomb in plain sight at the DNC, a massive security blunder, especially given that Vice President-elect Harris was inside the building. It's implied that the FBI videos of the alleged bomber on January 5th that pipe bombs were planted at the RNC and DNC. Carlin Younger discovered the bomb at the RNC at 1240, and the combined actions of the FBI, Secret Service, and Capitol Police made it possible for the CDU to find the bomb at 1:07 p.m. at the DNC, just as activists began to push down police barriers at the Capitol grounds. How convenient. All right. So we're going to move on after this sponsor message. Hello. Thank you for, what's it say? Jim Fetterwomen. Jim Fetterwomen with a big bullet in the tip jar. And by the way, Jim Fetterwomen, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you very much. John Fetterwomen, if you don't know what the joke is there, think about it. John Fetterwomen says, I promise not to chase this black man with a shotgun if he's not in 3 miles around my home. End quote. End quote. Yes, John Fetterman. Isn't it weird? So John Fetterman is the guy that looks like Uncle Fester that's running for the Senate for the state of Pennsylvania, and then they put up the carpetbagger guy, Dr. Oz, to run against him. And John Fetterman had I believe did he have brain aneurysm, something like that, and he had a stroke. So he had a stroke, right? And so he's having a very difficult time talking, and he kind of talks in clumps of words that don't really make sentences right now because he's still having the effects of these strokes. It's kind of sad because honestly, they should have. He should not be in the race anymore. They should have replaced him, but they haven't. I guess he's just big level alpha guy, but he has a little backstory problem in that when he was mayor of some podunk town that barely has anything, that the town I don't even think exists anymore, but he was the mayor of some town, and some black dude was jogging down the street, and John Fetterman just grabs a shotgun and chases the guy down with a shotgun. And, in this day and age when black men are under attack by white people and police, that probably doesn't sit well with the brothers and sisters of the area that John Fetterman is trying to be the United States Senator of. So now what's really unusual about this whole thing, though, is there ain't a single reporter in Pennsylvania or in the national news that wants to ask John Fetterman about this. Oh, well, this has been explained already. They're not asking him. And it's very curious. It's curiouser and curiouser that they don't ask John Fetterman, why did you grab a shotgun when you saw a brother running down the street? So I think that question should be answered. And, there you go. I've had a few strokes and not one made me chase a black man with a gun. Oh, well, see? AD himself says, I've had a few strokes, never wanted to chase a black man with a shotgun. I'm just saying, dude, they always have those jogger jokes about the 3 guys who are in jail now for shooting the dude in Georgia. But hey, John Fetterman saw a black man jogging and decided to just grab a shotgun because, just saying. Anyway, shall we move on? Okay. As far as the raid of Mar-a-Lago, I have some news about that. That's me, though. That's not... Here, let's try that again. There we go. Trump responds to the stay motion. So, as you know, they've been working on getting a special master, meaning an impartial third party to look at the documents during this Mar-a-Lago raid to make sure they're staying within the parameters of the search warrant, right? And so they've actually now at this point, now that the Justice Department has kind of capitulated and said, okay, we'll do the special master, and they've kind of agreed on someone to do this. But anyway, Trump's response to stay motion is that a special master is needed, Fed trying to skip the process and proceed straight to a preordained conclusion. So his lawyers filed a motion in response to the Fed's motion for a partial stay. They were trying to get a partial stay of having someone else look at these documents, right? The response provides in part, this investigation of the 45th President of the United States is both unprecedented and misguided in what at its core is a document storage dispute that has spiraled out of control. The government wrongfully seeks to criminalize the possession by the 45th President of his own presidential and personal records. By way of its motion, ECF number 69, the government now seeks to limit the scope of any review of its investigative conduct and presupposes the outcome, at least as regards to what it deems are, quote, classified records, end quote. However, the court's order is a sensible preliminary step towards restoring order from chaos. The government should therefore not be permitted to skip the process and proceed straight to a preordained conclusion. Now, so the judge has ordered the parties to consider in formulating an order for a special master, which they've done. They are actually going to go ahead and sign a special master. I think they've even agreed on who it's going to be. But what's weird about this is this has switched from something that's supposedly criminal investigation to just a government records investigation for the Presidential Records Act. They've kind of dropped any other pretense that this is anything but a Presidential Records Act a violation, which is an administrative violation. There's no criminal charge for this. So I'm very curious. Now, the one thing they are doing though is the Justice Department and the White House, I suspect, is using this as a political cudgel by leaking certain things about this. And so when they talked about a few weeks ago, that he might have had nuclear secrets, right? No, he didn't have any nuclear secrets. Now, they did get some clothing items and some books and newspaper clippings, which, certainly if they started, when they went through Melania's closet and started going through her underwear drawer and they took some of her underwear, that would be a nuclear event because they would look like idiots. And but anyway, this is not a criminal investigation. It's literally an administrative investigation of presidential records. They're no longer accusing the president of criminal activity. But if you ask anyone on the left, if you watch anyone on Twitter talking about this from Democrats or the left, you would think that this is a criminal investigation and the walls are closing in. I don't know why I used that there, but anyway. Hey, I see a new name in the chat. Prayed Up. What's up? Brian Craig just told a caller she should be glad she was born in America when he asked how he felt about reparations. I almost puked. Who's Brian Craig? I'm not sure who that is. Interesting. I'm not sure who that is. Anyway, all right, let's keep going here. Here's another. Now, PJ Media thinks that this could be a problem. It might be a good idea or might not be a good idea with this special master thing. As an added sideshow to the FBI's unprecedented and misguided election season raid of former President Donald Trump, there's a drama surrounding the candidates who might win the job of pawing through all of the confiscated documents. Both the government and Trump's lawyers, who are arguing over possession taken from the former president's Mar-a-Lago home on August 8th, announced nominees for the special master to go through Trump's things. One candidate in particular is causing plenty of pucker for those who support the former president. Well, all right, I think we've already got who it is. One of Trump's two candidates is Raymond Dearie, a retired federal judge in the Eastern District of New York. Dearie was on the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, FISA court, which makes him qualified to deal with classified documents, if indeed any were found at Trump's Florida home, an argument renewed by his lawyers in a filing on Monday. He was the presiding judge over the FIFA scandal brought into the United States. The FIFA scandal brought in the United States. But Dearie comes with baggage, big baggage. This is the guy they ended up having too. Dearie was the judge who approved a FISA warrant to spy on Trump campaign volunteer Carter Page. The Page spy warrant gave the feds entry to spy on Trump's 2016 campaign for president. Using the spy agency's top two-hop rule, the feds could spy not only on Page, but people who he talked to and people they talked to. And then NBC News provided an explanation of the rules and how corrosive they are, whatever. But the feds... So anyway, this judge that I think they're going to end up using, could be a problem. That's if you want to read more about that. All right, let's go to Buttigieg. Interested in California ban on new cars as he weighs in national policy. Pete Buttigieg remarked Friday that he is interested in an upcoming California ban on new gas-powered cars as the Biden administration weighs on nationwide electric vehicle policies. Now, let me just give you something. Some food for thought, because living in Minnesota, we have a governor named Tim Walz. And Tim Walz is, Democrat, very in tune to what other Democrat governors do, right? And he, particularly during the pandemic, early in the pandemic, Tim Wall pretty much, if Governor Cuomo or Gavin Newsom implemented a policy in their states, you could almost guarantee within 30 days that same policy would be implemented in Minnesota. He's the copycat governor, right? However, I have a little bit of new respect for Tim Wall, even though I wouldn't vote for him to save my life, right? Here, Tim Wall realizes that in the state of Minnesota, where our temperatures in the winter get down to pretty much average to somewhere between freezing and well below zero, right? And electric cars don't quite work as well in cold weather. They're just not good. It's hard to run a heater because they don't have, you have to run electric heat in an electric car and it uses up more battery. And they just don't perform as well in cold weather. So the idea that the Transportation Secretary, Pete Buttigieg, is talking about a national policy on electric vehicles does not work for states where it gets cold weather. Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, New York, northern parts of Illinois, and so on and so on, Maine, whatever. Gas-powered vehicles are just more efficient. And they certainly have a much lower carbon footprint than electric vehicles. How so, do you say? Well, because all the shit you have to mine and refine and whatever to make a single battery for an electric car. So the idea that Buttigieg is thinking of doing rules nationwide, he needs to kiss my ass. I'm sorry. Just saying. All right, let's go on here. California eco-activist group Red List Maine Lobster. This is kind of weird. I'm currently making my way through New England for this year's fall color trip. Now I feel I should make an apology tour. Now this is, who's this? Leslie Eastman saying this. My husband and I spent several days in Maine enjoying lobster and lobster rolls, only discovered that a group of Bay Area eco-activists has placed lobsters on its red list. Now, what's a red list? I don't even know what that is. Should we know? Because my wife and I are going to do this tour, one of the same kind of tour in 2 years. We're going to go up the Maine. We're going to start in Boston. We're going to go up into Maine because we have a friend who has a house up there. Going to eat some Maine lobster. We're going to go across New Hampshire and Vermont. We're going to drive them. Oh, we're also going to drive up to Nova Scotia to see her great-grandfather's house that's still there that he built. But anyway, so Maine lobster industry officials and processors worries about the recent red listing of the American and Canadian lobster fishery by an influential conservation watchdog group could hurt the state's fishing fleet at a time when it's already feeling threatened by increased regulations. Earlier this week, Monterey Bay Aquarium Seafood Watch recommended consumers avoid lobsters caught throughout New England and Canada because management of the fisheries don't go far enough to protect northern Atlantic right whales from entanglements. It is not the first time the aquarium has said consumers should not eat lobster due to environmental concerns. It cited overfishing when lobster made the list in 2000, but later backtracked and removed lobsters from the avoid list. Some retailers are taking lobster off the menu. Seafood Watch, which rates the sustainability of different seafoods, said this week it added the American and Canadian lobster fisheries to its red list of species to avoid. The organization, based in Monterey Bay Aquarium in California, said in a report that the fishing industry is a danger to northern Atlantic right whales because the current management. Okay, this is kind of the same sentence. Why did they put this in here twice? Lobsters aren't caught with nets. Maybe they're entangled in the lines for the cages. I don't know. That's kind of a weird thing. They're not caught in nets. Thousands of businesses use Seafood Watch's recommendation to inform seafood buying decisions, and many have pledged to avoid any items that appear on their red list. A spokesperson for Blue Apron, the New York meal kit retailer, said after the releases of the report that the company no longer offers lobsters. HelloFresh, the Germany-based meal kit company that is the largest such company operating in the U.S., also pledged shortly after the announcement to stop selling lobster. Now, this person says, I will note those companies who are easily bullied by eco-activism. Yeah, how about that? And make it a point to go elsewhere for my meals. Two can play at that game. Maine's famed lobstermen are fighting back also. Local lobstermen are furious over the red list designation by the environmental group Seafood Watch, discouraging the purchase of Gulf Maine lobster. Lobstermen argue their traps are regulated in the United States to the point where they consider it unfeasible for right whales to get caught in their traps. Well, yeah, they're not big enough for any kind of whale, even a baby whale. Maine lobstermen have not had an interaction with right whales in nearly 20 years, the Maine Lobstermen Association said this week. With a new listing coming out this month of Maine Lobster Week, the month of Maine Lobster Week, Maine lobstermen and officials as high in power as the governor are denouncing Seafood Watch for unfairly attacking Maine's struggling lobster industry. So, and the Maine Senator, Angus King, had the best assessment of the Monterey Aquarium, its group of econauts, arrogant fish zoo. Senator Angus King, independent from Maine, was visibly upset as he addressed reporters outside Luke's Lobster in Portland on Friday. He dismissed the aquarium as an arrogant fish zoo. They have made a decision, which is a knife in the back to the lobster industry in Maine with no evidence, he exclaimed. King was flanked by Governor Janet Mills, Marine Resource Commissioner Patrick Kyler, Luke Lobster's owner, Luke Holden, and Kurt Brown, lobsterman and marine biologist for Ready Seafood. So, some California asswipe says that what whale, some kind of whale is going to get caught in their nets, then they don't use nets to catch lobster. So, that's fascinating. All right, I'm running out of time. Let's see what else I have here. Welcome to our world. Oh, border sheriffs unload on mayors for complaining about illegal immigrants. So, so the Texas border sheriffs blasted the mayors of supposed sanctuary cities for whining over buses of illegal immigrants from Texas. Jonathan Thompson, executive director and CEO of the National Sheriff's Association, retorted, "Welcome to our world, asshole." He didn't say asshole, but, he probably could have. Welcome to our world is what they say. Welcome to the everyday problems we are facing, and you've been ignoring that you continue to want to blame someone else for. Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser, New York City Mayor Eric Adams, and Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot claim that their cities are sanctuary cities for illegal immigrants, but action speaks louder than words. Bowser declared a state of emergency. Adams demanded federal help. Lightfoot quietly shipped the people to the suburbs. Yeah, so they're busing people to these sanctuary cities, right? And Lori Lightfoot is basically taking him in Chicago and sending him out to suburbs, usually Republican-dominated suburbs. Anyway, the cities have only received 10,000 illegal immigrants since April. The Border Patrol has encountered over 2 million migrants in the 2022 fiscal year. That's almost 200,000 a month. So 200,000 a month versus 10,000 in your little sanctuary cities. Y'all can get over it. There's more to the story, but you can read it yourself. Also, when I add to the links today, since I'm running out of time here, the DOJ is not going to prosecute a prosecutor who sexually assaulted someone. There's a whole thread here by Chuck Ross. So there's a DOJ inspector general found that a U.S. assistant attorney exposed his or her genitals, since they left it neutral because they're not going to tell you, on a date and committed sexual assault. Criminal prosecution was declined. The prosecutor appears to still have a job. Now, it very well could be. I don't know that it's a federal crime, but somehow they got a DOJ, a U.S. attorney. The charges dropped for a U.S. attorney who committed a sexual assault. Now, Chuck has a whole thread here of different problems with people in the. What the hell is that? Rock. Anyway, of people in the Justice Department who've been treated with kid gloves, like laws for thee but not for me kind of shit. I'm tripping. I can't believe it. There's a whole bunch of them. So anyway, here's a couple more examples. assistant U.S. attorney was pulled over for drunk driving and then cursed at officers and kicked the cop car. Still working for the Department of Justice. Assistant U.S. attorney had inappropriate physical contact with a Foreign Service national during an assignment for the DOJ criminal division. The prosecutor got drunk in front of the foreign government official. Now, that's not illegal, but anyway, there's a whole thread of it. And if you want to read the story, it'll be in the tabs. Also, now we heard about Brian Stelter getting a new job. He's going to be working at Harvard. Well, this story also says that John Harwood and Jeffrey Toobin, the originator of Tubining, which is being masturbating during the Zoom call, apparently they're still looking for work, but they're still coping with the loss of their lucrative network jobs. Toobin recently appeared as a legal analyst on a golf podcast and expressed his support for the New York Jets hours before the team was crushed 24-9 by the Baltimore Ravens. Oh, where's their sad trombone? Right here. And Harwood used his last appearance on CNN to deliver a partisan rant in which he argued that journalists were morally obligated to support the Democratic Party. So he's a hack. Anyway, if you really give a shit, read it. Remember when Senator Elizabeth Warren was pressuring card processors to, and also I think the governor of New York did this too. Said they wanted credit card processors to track gun purchases used with your credit cards. Well, apparently, Visa, MasterCard, and American Express have capitulated. They are starting to categorize gun sales in new merchant category. Visa has joined MasterCard and American Express by applying the International Organization for Standardization. I don't even know if that's a word. New merchant code to categorize gun sales in gun shops. The new iOS code was announced Friday. Previously, gun store sales were labeled as general merchandise. Following ISO's decision to establish a new merchant category code, Visa will proceed with next steps while ensuring we protect all legal commerce on the Visa network in accordance with our standing rules, Visa said in a statement. The move by Visa signals a major victory for gun control advocates who argue that a separate category for gun store sales will help track suspicious quantities of firearm sales that could potentially lead to a mass shooting. Gun sales at big box retailers would not fall under the category. 3 payment processors also heard from the Democratic lawmakers and the New York and California Attorney Generals. Earlier this month, Democratic lawmakers wrote to Visa, MasterCard, and American Express pushing for the implementation of the new MCC for gun and ammunition sellers, citing recent examples of credit cards being used to buy guns that were later used in mass shootings. A new code for gun retailers would be an important step towards ending financial system support for gun trafficking, gun violence, and domestic. Okay, stop. Do anyone here think that? Now, except for a very rare instance, which we've seen, in some of these high-profile mass shootings, do you think that most gun violence is committed by people who's buying shit with credit cards in Walmart or Bass Pro Shop or some shit? Except for that jackhole in Texas, who somehow came up with $10,000 worth of guns when his mom's unemployed and he works at McDonald's. Somehow come up with $10,000 worth of guns and ammunition and Kevlar and shit. I don't know. It's just a way they can track you. Finally, this is in Arizona, I think. Katie Hobbs, Democratic nominee for Arizona governor, released her education plan on Sunday, which doubles down on her opposition to school choice. Hey, that'll be popular amongst the brothers and sisters who love school choice. That's that. I don't know. I got a feeling. Katie Hobbs, I thought was going to be a shoe-in over Carrie. What's her name? Anyway, I don't think so anymore. I think she's going to get destroyed. And good. We don't need her. Another one. You'll have to check this story out. Maybe I'll touch this one this afternoon. Sixth graders project or protect their fellow students from a creepy teacher. So, what's my last two here? All right. You can look those yourself. What do you do when your teacher is a pervert and no one will listen? You take matters into your own hand. According to a report in the Boston Globe, 6th graders, no less, at Davisville Middle School in Rhode Island had enough of their teacher not only being cruel to the boys, but also with the way he treated the girls. He leered at them, gave them pet names, asked them to dance. He even allegedly asked one girl to take off her shoes and show him her toes. The unnamed teacher, who was also a coach, told the kids he had dealt with parents' complaints before and was not worried. The boys went to the adults, who essentially blew them off. The flirting and innuendo made the girls uncomfortable. Some would laugh, while others just stayed in their seats and endured it. In January of last year, this is the feel-good story of the day, by the way. In January of last year, a group of boys decided enough was enough. They took to Discord and created a channel named after the teacher and also referred to it as the Pedo Database. There, they documented the teacher's activities. Then, during the COVID-19 quarantine, they had the Discord channel on a split screen with the teacher logged incidents as they happened. The Globe has some of the quotes. "You all love me, so choose love. You got to stand up and dance now. Everyone in bathing suits tomorrow." They also told incoming students about the Discord board so more evidence could be collected. The hard work and patience paid off, and in April of this year, the teacher was escorted off the premises. Yes! Allegations were finally made that this teacher had stalked a preteen girl he was coaching and had been inappropriate with other students. The students' parents had complained before, but the teacher continued to coach until he was hit with a restraining order in North Kingston. He had held 2 other coaching jobs, and other parents had noted that he singled out female students for special attention. When the fecal matter collided with the oscillating ventilator, also known as when the shit hit the fan, authorities wanted people to come forward with more information, and the boys were right there with their database. According to the Globe, the database is now in the hands of the U.S. Attorney's Office, the State Department of Children, Youth, and Family, and the State Department of Education, and the lawyer who is heading up the investigation for the school districts. 2 things stand out here. First, the boys had gone to the people whose job it was to protect students, and nobody cared. They had to take matters into their own hands. Let's forget about pronouns, gender, and CRT for just a minute. The left can't figure out why parents want to know what's going on in their children's classrooms. This is why. Preteen girls were being harassed and essentially exploited by a person in a position of trust, and nothing was done. How long did this go on? How many students had to suffer from this humiliation? How many times was the issue shunted to one side and buried? One of the boys was quoted as saying, "I don't think there was a single adult who would ever, like their parents, my mom, like anybody in the school, who had ever really taken the whole thing seriously before. The boys were being treated shabbily, and the girls were being sexually harassed. Tell me again what goes on in a school. It isn't any business of the parent. A parent should be able to walk in at any moment, sit down in a classroom, and find out exactly what is happening with their children. In fact, that might go a long way into detecting and preventing this kind of thing in the future. If a school district expects parents to trust it, it needs to be very comfortable with total transparency." Second, let's have no more of this treating boys as second-class citizens. Let us dispense with the "boys are dumb, throw rocks at them" t-shirts. It is time to stop discouraging and excluding them from STEM and other activities. It is time to stop relegating boys to video games in the back of the classroom. The boys did exactly what a man should do. They stood up for the girls in their class against a horrible man who had found ways to wedge himself in the system like a diseased mollusk. And when the people who were in charge with keeping them safe did not care, they did what they could do on their own. Every father who reads this should sit down with his son tonight and say, "This is who I want you to be." Abso-fucking-lutely. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to call it a day. As you know, I am normally here Monday through Friday around 10 o'clock Eastern. I try to get here, but it's been tough with work lately, getting out on time. But it's all good. Please, if you haven't done so already, hit the like button, share the stream before, during, after, put a comment in the comment section if you have something to comment about, or even if you just say hi so I know you were here. And thank you for all of you who have joined us in the chat today and are people lurking in the background. But it's time for me to go. I'll be back maybe this afternoon. Y'all have a good afternoon. My name is P Dog Knight, and I am out of here. Have a wonderful afternoon. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.